Hi everyone, and welcome to this video. This is a very important video for those of you who have Piriformis Syndrome and you are trying to do the exercises that are given to you or found online, and you're finding that one certain specific exercise is either making the pain worse or specifically triggering piriformis pain. And that exercise is the clamshell. The reason why I'm making this video is because I have received some emails recently of people telling me how the clamshell is kind of doing the opposite of what they're expecting it to do. The exercise is usually given by therapists or online, and it is a really great exercise for activating the glute med. However, when you have Piriformis syndrome, it can actually create more pain. And I do remember this exercise specifically for me because it was interesting. Once it would get me relief, and another time it would be really bad and it would get me into more spasms. So over the years, I have tried to find some techniques to do the exercise and benefit from the exercise without experiencing those chronic spasms and without flaring up the piriformis. So if you do have issues with the clamshell exercise, I'm really hoping that these tips are going to help you. So again, the exercise is specifically great for gluteus medius activation. Very first thing, when you're doing the exercise, you want to be removing any resistance to make sure you're doing the exercise with good form before you add any load. And another thing is you want to avoid rotation of your hips. So that's a mistake that sometimes I see people make when they're doing this exercise. And also the other mistake is trying to open up your legs too much, to raise up the leg too much, which is not necessary to get the most out of this exercise. So I want to demonstrate some of these mistakes. So the first mistake is, again, putting the band like a very strong resistance band and, trying to do the exercise and put in way too much load on the muscle before it's ready, before you improve your form. And the next thing is big rotations of the hips. So we're not really getting much here of the exercise. The other thing is trying to open up the leg too much, put in way too much force on the hips. So these are things that can definitely aggravate the pain if you already are experiencing piriformis pain on that hip, because you want to work the glute med with as little activation of the piriformis as possible, which is really hard because the piriformis is an external hip rotator, and what you're doing is literally externally rotating your hip. And I always say we're not going to be able to completely disengage the piriformis, but we just want to minimize its activation so that it's not flaring up. That's really all we want to do. We still want to strengthen the muscle and work the muscle, but we want to find that sweet spot where it's not flaring up, So a great tip here is using the wall. I have been doing this exercise against the wall, and it has already fixed many of these mistakes. And the first one is the rotation. So once you get on the wall, you're going to be using the wall to improve your posture, to make sure your back is touching the wall, glutes and feet. And the moment you're going to be rotating, the wall is going to stop you. And also, if you're going to rotate your hips forward, you're going to feel that your glutes are away from the wall. So just everything should be touching the wall, and just focus on very small movements. And what also helps is to put your hand on your hip to feel that glute med working. So if you just press few of your fingers right here, you are going to feel the glute med working. And focus on that contraction as you go up and slowly back down. So just good quality repetitions, maybe 5 or 7, and that is enough. You don't have to go overboard. You don't have to be doing 20, 25 reps, which can flare up the piriformis. And make sure that when you're done, you switch sides and you do the same on the other side. So only after the exercise is okay, you've mastered the form, you're doing it fine, getting a little bit more easier, you can then add in a very light resistance band And we're gonna follow all of those things that I mentioned. When we add the resistance band, it's very important to just focus on small contractions and focus on the top part of the exercise. You don't have to raise your legs too high. And when you're experiencing pain, 5 repetitions is enough. You can do them, and as long as they're not producing pain, they are gonna work and activate the glute med. And what you can do is, instead of doing too many reps at once and risking triggering a flare-up, is you can spread them throughout the day. So you can do 5 in the morning, 5 in the evening. And that way you are working on your glutes without, overworking the glutes or putting way too much on the hips than they can handle right now. And while I'm here near the wall, I do want to say that the next thing you can try, if the clamshell just doesn't work for you, which is completely fine, there are a lot of exercises that are great, but if an exercise is triggering pain all the time and your body is just not responding to it positively right now, that's fine. You can choose another exercise that does the exact same thing and that doesn't trigger pain for you. So it's totally fine to not cause pain, to do another exercise that's not causing you pain so that you can get the job done, so you can work on your glutes. Why would you keep choosing the same exercise that keeps triggering pain? It's really not a special exercise. If we can find a substitute that is activating the glute med, then definitely go for it. And in a few weeks or a few months, you can revisit this exercise and see if it's okay for you. My second choice is actually also still using the wall, but we're going to be doing the leg raises. And this is actually a really great way to, again, activate the glute med and do the abductions without getting into that external rotation. So again, everything should be touching the wall and slowly releasing, sliding your leg up and down. And again, feeling the muscle working. So this is again another great alternative to doing the abductions and activating the glute med without doing the external hip rotation. I have videos where we work on the glutes with different exercises, but I did want to keep this video focused on the clamshell exercise because I know a lot of people do it, especially with Piriformis Syndrome, to work on the glute med. So I wanted to share some tips. So I do hope these tips are going to be helpful. Try them out and let me know if they are helpful and if they don't produce any pain, and if they have improved your pain level. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in a new video.